welcome back to Diving Into Watches. And today I got an awesome review for you. We're going to be reviewing a new watch I picked up, a watch that I've actually never owned before, a watch by Orient called the Mako 3 right here. And Orient's been around for quite a while. It's a watch brand that I've known and seen a lot, probably over the last 10 years, but I never ever picked one up because I just got hooked on the Seikos, went with the Seiko route, and never really explored the Orient line of watches and their luxury line called Orient Star. But I know they have a huge following, a big cult following. A lot of people really love them. They swear by them. The Komatsu, the earlier versions of the Mako. And the one that probably really got them going was the Bambino, which was a dress watch that was, you could, back in earlier, you could pick it up for about $150, and it was just a cult classic and just went crazy. And people still love it and still like the Bambino, but I don't know if it still holds the same popularity. Sometime between 1950, I don't know exact date, but they became a fully owned subsidiary of Seiko Epson Corporation. So they are one of the three big watch stool legs, or whatever, of the Seiko conglomerate. And Orient is a fully owned company of Seiko. And interesting is that Orient produces their own in-house movements. So they don't use anything from Seiko. They don't use the Seiko NH movements or their in-house movements. They make their own in-house movements since the beginning, and they continue to make their own in-house movements today. One of the things I think is making Orient so popular and attractive to people is their watches are still extremely, extremely affordable. They basically have three lines. They have the sports collection, they have their classic, which is kind of all of their quartz-based watches, which, you know, in the low 100s up into the low 200s, and then they have their luxury line, and then they have their dress line. But what I fell in love with was the dive watch one. And this particular one of the Mako, because they come in three different colors, they got a Pepsi version and different dials, but I loved this one because of the dial color combination. I've never seen one in the green and the cream. And they say that the dial is cream, I think is what they said on the website, or white. No, I'm sorry, they say it's ivory. But if you really look at it in person, it looks more champagne. So I don't see the ivory. I even asked the wife, and she looked at it and she said, that's champagne. So they also made their first dive watch back in 1964, and you can actually still buy that dive watch. It's on the luxury side of Orient Watch, and it is called the Dive Watch 1964. And it is a gorgeous, gorgeous watch. It's pricey. It's about $1,500. I don't know how many people buy in the Orient Star side of the house, which is their luxury brand side. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of those out. I don't even see a lot of I see a lot of reviews on the Makos and the Komatsus, but I don't see a lot of reviews online about the Orient Star or the luxury lines. But what we're going to be reviewing today and showing some outside pics, some inside pics, some wrist shots and everything, and going over all the dimensions is of the Orient Mako version 3. So without further ado, let's get it over to the bench and let's do that review. All right, here we are with the Orient Mako 3. It comes in this nice box. It's a piece of metal on top. It's printed. It's got a nice size and whatnot. It's not an overly obnoxious box, something that's going to be difficult to store. When you open it up, it comes on this pillow cushion inside. You got your standard, I already sized it for my wrist, but you got your standard book, the tags, whatnot. So we're not going to go into all that. No one really cares about the packaging. Let's just talk about the watch. So as I stated earlier, Orient Watch started back in 1909 and then eventually 1950s incorporated into its current Orient Star Company Corporation, and then it was bought by Seiko Epson and is now a fully owned subsidiary of Epson. I'm sorry, Seiko. What really attracted to me this watch is this color combination of the green. Some people say this is gold. I think it's a cream color, and then they say the Diary's Isle. I say it's champagne, so I call it green and cream. And it is just a beautiful watch. It is not ISO certified, but it is a 200-meter dive watch, and I know that people do dive with these and have dived with them, and they will hold up no problem with what you want to do. It is a in-house movement. It's the FX92. It's hand winding and hacking, and it has a 40-hour power reserve. The crystal, it is a sapphire crystal. I did test it with my crystal tester. It is 3/16 stainless steel. It has a polished sides, polished on the top, and then a polish on the bottom. And then the bracelet is an oyster bracelet, which is brushed, so it has a nice contrast. There are crown guards very nicely protruding off to the side, protecting the crown, but not too difficult. Definitely have to go from the 12 and the 6 to adjust the times on this one, but that's okay. You want that crown protected anyways. Quick go over the dimensions here. The case is 44.8 millimeters. So though it is on the larger side, you'll see when I have it on wrist, it is not big on the wrist. It really feels like more like a 40 when it's on the wrist. So even though it's 44, it feels like a 40 on the wrist. The case, I'm sorry, lug to lug is 46.8. So it's on the wider side, but again, it does fit really nicely the way the end links taper down on this one. And it is female. But what really helps too is that the band is female, so it really female end links, so it helps go curve down and really pull it down, so you don't have the male ones pushing it out. It is not drilled end links on it. The thickness of the watch is 12.8, so it's a nice thin watch. It's not going to protrude heavily off of the wrist. It's going to sit nicely on the wrist. It is, as I stated, it's 200-meter water resistance, screw down crown, and it is a screw down back, and the lug width is 22 millimeters. The bracelet is safety clasp with a double push button deployment, which is really nice. It is stamped. That's where they're obviously saving the money on the bracelet. That's okay. It still fits and clicks very nicely. You have 4 micro adjustments right here, and I have had to take out. I think I took out 4 links. It is a pin and collar. It is not screw down. It is pin and collar. I think the total I paid for this watch off of Amazon was like $330. So it was an exceptionally good bargain. It reminds me of the old days of getting Seikos inexpensively, and now the Seikos are moving up in price. One of the things I do like about this particular watch is they actually have numbered indices, 12, 6, and 9. Obviously not the 3 o'clock because it's a day-date adjustment. And then they have the sword hands, which are very nice, very well loomed. And then you have the seconds hand with an orange tip on it, which contrasts very nicely with the champagne and green bezel. It's a 120 click. I don't know if my mic's going to pick that up, but one thing that Orient does very nicely, line up at the top perfectly. So Orient does pay attention to the QCs, at least on this particular watch, and it lines up very, very nicely. The case back is a solid case back. It's not a screw down case back, and it has a design. I can't remember what the design on the case is. It looks like a shell. I think it's, oh, I'm sorry. It's 2 dolphins. You can see them right there. It's 2 dolphins. Let me open this up. You got the 2 dolphins on the case back. The case back is going to tell you Epson, which is the parent company of Orient, which is fully owned by Seiko. It is hollow end links. They are not solid. So if you take this off, you're going to know that part. So that's okay. Again, you're getting the old school Seiko prices on a really top-notch quality watch. Very, very happy with this one. It wears very comfortably. It is also has the Mako. I'm sorry, not the Mako. It has the Orient crest and I think it's 2 lions. I can't really see that very well. Yeah, I think it's 2 lions. Crest on the stem. The stem is nicely knurled. It's very easy to grab, very easy to unscrew. Pops right out. There are no gaskets on that. The gaskets are probably inside the crown and inside the watch. I have not taken it off to take a look at the movement. Put that back on. One of the new things I picked up, and I'm going to put it on here, is I have a time grapher. So we're going to put it on the time grapher to see what kind of time it gets, because I've had it in the comments. I've had people ask me about how well the watches that I've reviewed are doing, especially because they're the Seiko movements, how they're doing as far as keeping time. So I picked up a time grapher. So now I'm going to throw this on the time grapher so we can see what it looks like and see how it's keeping on time. Let's give it a few seconds to run. We'll see how it's doing. 21,600 beats per minute. Beat error is 0.3, just a little off. Amplitude looks good. It looks like it's running right around -1 second a day, which you cannot complain about that. That is absolutely exceptionally well. Now it's +5, so about +5 seconds a day. Can't complain about that. Let's move it to where as if it was on the wrist, hanging in a downward position, because the it will change based upon where your arm position is on a given day. I mean, when you're wearing it, so this would be just like wearing it hanging at your side when you're walking. Looks like it's going to be +9 seconds. Well, you can see it's keeping pretty decent time for what you're getting. So roughly a little over $300, you're getting a pretty decent watch, keeping good time. The styling is really nice. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the wrist so we can get a nice wrist shot to see what it looks like on the wrist. I will also include some outside shots so you can see what it's like in the sunlight and comparing to other watches. Wristwatch check real quick. I have on my Seiko SKX 009 Pepsi dial. This is the original movement still in it. Just had it serviced, and it's on the Jubilee bracelet. You can see I try to keep it in pretty darn condition. It's about 6 years old now, 7 years old. I will be doing a review on this one because I think this is probably ranks one up there as most iconic watches in our lifetime, as just a real horological timepiece that anybody would love to own. I will probably do a comparison against all three since these are both owned, but you can see in size comparison, it looks really nice. So let me go ahead and throw this on the wrist and I'll give you a quick wrist shot. There it is on my 6¼ inch wrist. You can see it fits very nicely, very snugly. For 44.5, 44.8, so almost basically 45 millimeters. It does not feel like a 45 millimeter watch. It feels like a 40 millimeter watch on my wrist. It does not feel overly large. It does not stick up really high on my wrist. I don't feel that weight heavy at all. The bracelet feels very, very comfortable. You can see the end links, the ends, the lugs taper nicely at the wrist. So if you have a little bit larger wrist, this is going to be nice. It's not overhanging my wrist at all. It's very comfortable, very extremely comfortable, and looks very, very nice. We'll get you a lume shot here in a second. The lume is good. It is not, I would say, is not to the level of Seiko. I will go ahead and charge up my SKX here real quick and throw it under so you can see a lume comparison. But the lume is good. It does hold up quite well. The indices stand out very nicely, and they're very, very legible even with the lume. There's a side-by-side between the SKX and the Orient. You can see that the SKX, which is always, Seiko's always known for their lume, they do really great job. But overall, the Orient, for the price point that it's at, you're getting kind of a SKX level of a watch. For the price point that you're getting on this watch, you're basically getting what the SKX was back in the day. You're getting what the SKX price was back in the day. Actually, an SKX would run you under $300. Under $200 back when you could still get them. It's sad that they don't make them anymore. Maybe they'll reintroduce them. I don't know. But overall, I don't think you can absolutely go wrong at all with purchasing an Orient MAKO 3. They've done a great job. It's absolutely a gorgeous watch. Holds up very well, wears very, very comfortably. Absolutely no complaints on this watch whatsoever. It's a solid watch. So I'm going to go back over to the studio and give you my final thoughts and my final impressions on the watch, and if this is a recommend or a no buy. But I think you already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's a recommend. Definitely you want to pick these up, put these in your collection for sure. Well, there you go, folks. There's the review, the dimensions, the overall impressions, close-up shots of the Orient MAKO 3. It is a outstanding watch. I have nothing but high praises for this. I think it's definitely worth you spending your money on investing. I don't think you can go wrong. Being 22 millimeter lug, you can definitely change this out to all kinds of straps, rubber, leather, whatever you want. I know people say you can't put leather in dive watches, but hey, you know what? It's your damn watch. You do what you want with it. If you're trying to dress it up, one thing I do really like about the Orient compared to other watches like the Seiko SKX is this one definitely has a more dress appeal to it. Just the way the styling is, the way the date window has a frame around it with the colors that match the silver framing around it. It almost matches the same green color on the bezel. This would be definitely a great watch for wearing to the office or to work. You could wear this with the suit. I think you could wear this with the suit, no problem. It dresses up. It's more, I would say it's more on the dress side of a dive watch. So I would, yeah, I would definitely think you could, dress this up, dress it down, no problem. I don't think you could go wrong putting this in your collection at all. I think Orient is going to start making more impressions on people, and I think you're going to see the popularity of these watches grow as other watch brands that we've loved and love to buy have keep increasing their prices, especially with Seiko price increases that they've gone through. They might start pricing themselves out of a portion of the market. That's why there's such an appeal to the homage clamage side of the house of the Audi dive and the steel dive and those types, because you're getting some quality watches and you're getting the affordability in it. And like all things like cars, sometimes these things can just price people out of certain things. But with the Orient, go to their website, check them out. I don't think you can go wrong with Orient watches. They are still extremely affordable. And if you're a lover of the quartz movements, you can get all these in the quartz side, which they're extremely less expensive. Almost, I think when I was looking at, it, I think they're almost $100 to $150 less on the quartz side. I do have a few quartz watches. I just like mechanical watches. So tell me what you people think. Tell me what you guys think. Do you think that the Mako 3 is a good, solid alternative to the Seiko watches that are out there now, or the Seiko SKX? Um, would you pick up one of these? Do you own one? Maybe you're a long-term or loyal fan of Orient and you have the Komatsu and the earlier Makos and the Rays. What do you think of those? I want to thank everybody for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing. Keep, ugh, keep clicking that subscribe button. Keep staying tuned for more content. We keep cranking it out for you. We appreciate it. We appreciate everybody who's joined us. Please keep subscribing, and we look forward to it. We're going to get you another great review on another great watch next week. And until we see you then, stay safe, be happy, and have a great week.